Hello and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe in Lagos.
World watching us in London. I'm Austin Okonakpan.
All right, Austin obviously is right there in London. Okay, on the show tonight, we'll be talking about Adron homes. Yeah, when you mention Adron homes, it's all about properties, right? But this time around, their staff have decided to engage in sport. Yeah, it's the 6th edition of the competition. We'll be talking about that also in the program. Yes, the CAF Confederations Cup will get us talking. I mean, Austin... you know what? Okay, when I read it out before, I'm going to get to you because it wasn't what we expected. Plateau United went away, considered 3 goals. I mean, after holding on for 1 hour, they considered 3 goals and they are out of the CAF Confederations Cup. We'll touch down on the CAF Women's Champions League also. Bayelsa Queens, they're also out, but we still have one team on the continent, which is Rivers United. They made it through after a draw away from home. Also, of course, countdown to the FIFA World Cup. Teams are releasing their squad. Portugal, England, and of course, Belgium, Germany, all these countries are releasing their squad for the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Also on the program, yes, we'll touch down on NBBF basketball Final 8. Yes, that's where we're starting off with. But first, before we do that, Austin, just a quick one on these Adron homes and the games they are trying to do. This is the 6th edition. This time around, internationals are there. Daniel Amokachi was there in the last edition. Chairman John also. These are the stars they're bringing in to actually motivate their staff for them to keep fit. And also well-being, fitness, mental health. That's what it's all about for them.
And you know, we keep saying we want, private bodies, organizations to come into, sports, use it as a means to, develop the sports business environment, and as a way of what Adron homes they're doing, ensuring that sportsmen that we participate in these games keep fit, and also for their staff. Cecilia, this is a good one. It's laudable because I remember when they started the 1st edition, I was right there. Now this is the 6th edition, so let's say good job to the company for the consistency. Waidi Akoni, former Super Eagles player, has been in the forefront of this. Has ensured that they keep it going, and I think if we get more organizations to come into corporate game sponsorship with this now, if the NFF or the AFN or any other sporting federation in Nigeria go to Adron homes for some level of sponsorship, they can listen because they understand what it means, to support a sporting event.
Because they know sport is actually a business. There's so many sporting events, 20 in all. You have football, basketball, volleyball, shot put, cycling, Scrabble, chess, track events, 100 meters, 400 meters. These are some of the events these are some of the activities, the sporting activities for this year's edition of Adron Homes. Let's take a look at this report.
Adron Games is returning for the 6th edition. Staff of the brand nationwide are taking time off work to gather at the Yaba College of Technology Sports Complex for the commencement of the game.
The importance of sport is universally upheld. It is the key to building a better future. Hence, its relevance, even within the corporate space, cannot be overemphasized. We often take sport and leisure for granted, yet millions of people around the world do not have access to sport. Invited guests and participants, are you ready? Yeah! Let the games okay.
At this year's event, 8 worlds and directorates file out in the opening parade, indicating their readiness to compete.
Okay, are we ready? Ladies and gentlemen.
Adron Homes believes in physical fitness, even in the corporate organization. It's a culture we try to drive within our staff, and also to the public as well, because we hear complaints of people, staff who have bodily injuries or bodily aches or things like that while at the workplaces. But we say we want our staff to be fit because they can be productive only when they are fit. They can be the best only when they are fit. So that's why we have put this together. We put it together every year because it also brings forth bond. A lot of staff at this point here today, we have healthy competitions, and then a lot of people are bonding, friendship. It has a positive tone, within the corporate space.
We have started plans to start discovering talent, and we take a recent look at the case of Toby Amuson. We look back in the last 3-4 years, how she started and then where she is today, becoming an Olympian. So we definitely understand that what we are doing cannot just go that way. We have to start discovering talents, and then we want to project them for Nigeria and then project them for the world at large.
Ex-Super Eagles stars and Adron contractors take to the field for a novelty match to spice up the opening ceremony. The 3-day event will come to an end on Saturday, November the 12th.
Yeah, I believe Daniel Amokachi, that signature, I mean, it's something you look at, Austin, and you just love it. Anywhere, anytime, when you see Daniel Amokachi, you love that thing that he does regularly, especially the dance step. I enjoyed that totally.
Daniel Amokachi with the vibes. Aside Daniel Amokachi, it was good to see some ex-internationals. I saw Friday Ekpo. I saw Victor Agali, them coming out to play that novelty game. It's a good one for the Adron games. Cecilia, I was hoping that Channels TV was going to put together a team of professionals and go out there to compete. What are you guys doing?
Okay. I think the managers are listening to you, so they'll take this and then try as much as possible to do that. Okay, let's move to basketball. I mean, it was all, we expected some teams to actually at least get a victory today, but it just didn't happen. Lagos Islanders, come on, how do you play 4 games and you're losing all? And the way they lost to Canopilas by 40 points, as if they did not come to the party. We'll take a look at the results from match day 4 of the Nigeria Basketball Professional League. Canopilas and Lagos Islanders, 79-39. They lost by 40 points. Yes, Lagos Islanders, no win at all. Canopilas, their second win the group stage. But at the end of the day, it wasn't enough to take them to the semi-finals. So for them, they couldn't make it to the last 4. Rivers Hoopers are surprisingly losing to Benue Braves by as much as 12 points. We didn't see this coming, but somehow it happens to Rivers Hoopers. They lost their game. They're already in the last 4 before they play the game against Benue Braves, losing this one by 12 points. And Gombe Bulls and Police Baton also, a team that hasn't won a game so far since they started the final 8, lost by as much as 35 points. I mean, between Lagos Islanders and Police Baton, they were more like competing. The Lagos teams who's going to lose. How many points will each of them lose? At the end of the day, they lost by 35 points. And the way Gombe Bulls started, like a house on fire, they started with 10. I mean, the first quarter was 18-10, the second 9-4, the third one 24-16, and of course the final quarter, Police Baton literally gave up in this one because it ended 23-9. That was remarkable for Gombe Bulls, of course. not a good outing for them because right now they are not in the last 4. For Coral Falcons, already in the last 4, Nigerian Customs already making into the last 4. It was 72-80. Coral Falcons losing by 8 points. We didn't see this result coming. It was 11-24. The way it all started, Nigerian Customs they knew what they needed to do. That first quarter, winning it by as much as 9 points, 11-20 it ended. The second quarter was 24-32. The third quarter, 19-11, and the final quarter, 18-17 for the Coral Falcons. Our focus today is obviously going to be the 2 early games, the Kano Pillars and Lagos Islanders. I mean, when you look at this, Austin, I mean, the way it all started for the Kano Pillars, you expect them to do much better, but somehow it wasn't to be for them. Now, if you take a look at the results that you're seeing right there on your screen and how they all started, you expect Lagos Islanders to try and get something out of this game, but then they just couldn't. Bolu is in the house. Somebody Bolu is in the house, so I will be talking to him, and of course, he's going to be telling us what he feels about the whole final 8. Because at the end of the day, you expect something spectacular, something better from teams like Kano Pillars, teams like Police Baton, Lagos Islanders, but somehow they were not in the business at all. So Bolu Omoni is right here. So I walk up to him now. Of course, we're going to start the analysis for the Nigerian Basketball Professional League that just started on Monday, where you have the final 8 that should have been concluded the last time. They decided to conclude it this time around to have a representative for the Basketball Africa League. Now, Kano Pillars, Lagos Islanders, that game was, you say, a whitewash for Lagos Islanders. Welcome to the program.
Well, hi, good evening, Sisi, and I'll get to Austin when it's time. Yeah. I remind you of something we talked about last week. In NBA, that's what they call a blowout, when you win by as much. And the interesting thing is when you blow out teams, the team blowing out, someone has to get to maybe the hundreds or 120s, but 79 points and you're still blowing out your opposition. It shows how poor the Lagos Islanders were all through this competition. Like you rightly said, they didn't even win a single game. They are the host cities. Unfortunately, they couldn't do many Lagosians proud. But speaking from what you said about not finishing the other one due to some political issues, then coming up with this one, the way they hurriedly come up with this event, and suddenly lots of basketball followers all over Nigeria. I saw some friends that stay outside Lagos that came out for the event. It just means one thing: people have been hungry to watch basketball, proper basketball Premier League in the country. Hopefully, like we've said over the years, this will be the start of something. Remember, before now, there's been no Premier League in basketball for, I said Premier League, Premiership in basketball for about 6 years. Now this one came about. I asked some friends who follow even the NBA. They were not even talking about NBA. This is what they were talking about. It means they've been hungry for a long time. Now it is here, and I like that they didn't abandon. They are also covering, and we saw good games. The biggest shocker for me was Benue Braves defeating the River Supers, but maybe because they've already qualified for the semi-final, probably ease up. But it meant one thing: you may be the best, but if we snooze in sport, you will definitely lose.
Yeah, and that's what happened to Benue Braves. That's what happened to Rivers Hoopers. They just couldn't get something out of this one. Austin, we'll bring you in quickly on this one. Kano Pillars and Lagos Islanders. We expected something from Lagos Islanders. They are right here in Lagos and right here at the National Stadium, Surulere. They just couldn't get anything. Your last game, I mean, that's the biggest loss they had. And it's their last game. It's like they just gave up 40 points loss. Blowouts totally. And there was something in it also for Kano Pillars. So if you want to put teams side by side, Kano Pillars needed that result more than Lagos Islanders. What our analysis will be is that we didn't expect it to be that much of a blowout, but that you're disappointed Lagos Island didn't do what we wanted them to do because they were playing in Lagos. I don't see it that way, because truth is, these guys are not playing at their best. And that's why we must keep reminding administrators of basketball in Nigeria that we don't want that delay anymore. We don't want that pause in our basketball, because what were these guys doing when they were not playing basketball all the while, Bolo and Cecilia? They weren't doing anything other than go play street basketball or go and play one, game to just keep their skills going. For Lagos Islanders, they started so poorly, losing their first 2 matches. I wasn't here yesterday, but on Tuesday I told you that their drama will continue. And here we are. They're out of the competition with a disgraceful outing. They need to just go back as a club, and learn the lessons from this one, because I'm sure there are definitely lessons in it. But losing to Kano Pillars for me is not
a surprise because Kano Pillars are a very decent side. I'm still surprised that they didn't make it to the semi-finals, and that's a testament of the fact that some other teams needed to win their opening matches. They did just that, and they are in the semis. Teams like Benue Braves giving us all the juice and vibes to keep talking about them. We listened to the coach on Tuesday. She said, look, we've been in existence. We've not just been playing competition. So if you give that sort of team more competition, they will do well. But Cecilia, I'm not going to come here and say, oh, Lagos Islanders, we expect them to do this, do that, because it was Lagos and they didn't do it. In sports, the team that needs the win actually goes on to get it. But you know what? Let's listen, take reactions from that game between Lagos Islanders and Kano Pillars, and I'll come back. I'm still itching to hear what Bolu wants to say to me. Let's take the reaction.
I told the players they underrate teams. They hear names they want to play. Islander is an old club and they know they are always good, just like the Pillars. So maybe that's why they came out today and yesterday to play. You know, when we look at Police, they don't care. Look at Kwara and you see the size of the players of the Kara. But I've been telling them always, if you are playing basketball, even if it is your son, play him when you reach home, then play with him, but not on the court.
All the games, we plan to win all. From watching our yesterday game, you know we are ready. But from today's game, it shows that yesterday game was not a fluke. We didn't just give Royal Hoopers a fight because we know we are playing Royal Hoopers. That's the kind of fight we should give any other team. So I think we're a bit tougher than these guys, and that's why we are in where we are today. This whole competition, we came out ready, but I could say from the beginning of the first two games, you can see it's like we have fatigue because we had to come by road, and the road was very stressful. So actually, those first two games were just like we are not ready to play. So right now we came back and we show people that we're the same Pillars everybody know.
As a coach, every situation, it's important I learn from it. A lot to learn from our situation right now. We just hope that next season we're going to recruit well. We're going to have more players in the team. You know, then we'll prepare well and we'll see how it goes next year. No team will reign forever. Kano Pillars have reigned for some time. Royal Hoopers have reigned for some time. Gombe Bulls and all that. You know, it comes in, it comes out. You know, at times funding is also part of it, but you know, it's just normal.
So that's 6 reactions from the Kano Pillars and Lagos Islanders match. You listen to the Kano Pillars player. They said, look, I mean, we expected to go on to win, and we did just that. And Coach Sani Ahmed also said the same thing, that they were pumped up to, you know, play Lagos Islanders, and they did just that. Let me get Bolu talking. Bolu, let's talk about Benue Braves. I've just been looking at the results, and if they can beat Rivers Hoopers, the favorites to win this MBBF Final 8, maybe we should just give Benue Braves a title.
Well, you said something earlier that the team that wants it sometimes gets it more. And that's exactly what helped the Customs and the Benue Braves, because those wins are the reasons why Kano Pillars are not in the semi-finals now. If they had lost those games, probably we'll be talking about Kano Pillars in the semi-finals. Yeah. It shows hunger. It means you can be the traditional team, but some teams are really stepping up. Many of these guys were not doing anything competitive while the season was... The season has been on break for a long time, but at least those that needed it more, the hunger from the... And now they believe, oh, if we can beat Rivers Hoopers, if they meet again, they may end up losing that game, but there's no fear anymore. If they meet Rivers Hoopers again, maybe in this final or whatever, they can challenge them and tell them, we are better than you guys, we can face you guys. Now Nigeria Customs can believe, well, if we can beat others, and I think we can challenge, and according to them, they will believe, because they top the group where Benue Braves are. So they could think to themselves, if we are better than Benue Braves and they defeated you guys, we can take you on. I'm sure Rivers Hoopers now will be thinking that, man, it's not as easy as we thought it would be. Now they have to double up, and the competition in the semi-final will be much more interesting. Not maybe before today's game, people will be thinking, well, Yeah, just give it to Rivers Hoopers. They will stroll through and everything. But after losing, I can't remember the last time we come out to say Rivers Hoopers lost the game in Nigeria. Now that they've lost, you can believe one thing. The semi-final will definitely be faster and interesting. They are taking on Nigeria Customs in the semi-final. They will definitely give their best in that game.
I think so, because if you check what happened in the final quarter of that game, it was 18-8.
18-8, yeah.
I think maybe they were tired or something, because I was looking at it. The first quarter final, they lost. They bounced back in the second, and the third, it was a tie. But the last one, 18-8, was it tiredness, or they just gave the effect, oh, all right, we're already in the semis, so this one, it means nothing to us, and they just went ahead to have that. Maybe they were saving their energy for the semi-finals against, Nigeria Customs, because that's going to be a very crucial game. Because if you take a look at the way it all pans out, the two teams, they top the Atlantic Conference. Rivers Hoopers won, Nigeria Customs. Both of them lost just one game each. They won their 3 games straight in a row. Coral Falcons and Benue Braves, same thing, just a topping that's the Savannah Conference. For Rivers Hoopers trying to save their energy for Nigeria Customs, maybe, I don't know, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe that's the reason they lost like
that's
that.
It's not
as if, yeah.
That's not the reason.
That's not the reason. So
speaking from Austin, was Benue Braves needed it more, and they got the win.
And Cecilia, the truth of the matter is, when teams are on a winning spree, they want to keep it going, because you're as good as your last game. That's just what it is, particularly in this sort of competition where if you lose to one team and don't win your other game, you might just be out of the competition. Yes, they knew they had made the semis, but they know that we'll need something for the analysis. We'll need something that, for tactical, strategic moves and all of that. So I don't think our Rivers Hoopers, they didn't just see it coming. Benue Braves needed that result, and they went all out to get the result. Let's take a quick look at our semi-finalists for the MBBF Final 8. They'll go on a quick break. Kwara Falcons will we take on Benue Braves, while Nigeria Customs, Cecilia mentioned earlier, will take on Rivers Hoopers. We're getting ready for that one. Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Let's go on this quick break. When we come back, Bayelsa Queens, they were so close, but they couldn't make it to the final. Talk about the CAF Women's Champions League. Don't go anywhere. Stay. Welcome back. It's Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We're talking about what went down on day 4 of the Nigeria Basketball Federation Final 8. We have our semi-finalists now. It's Kwara Falcons taking on Benue Braves, while Nigerian Customs will take on Rivers Hoopers. Before we get on to talk about the CAF Women's Champions League, let me get Bolu talking. Bolu, the semi-finalists confirmed. Do you want to make a prediction which team will make it to the finals?
Well, naturally, before now, anyone can easily say, well, Rivers Hoopers in the finals, bring on anyone. But like I was discussing with Cecilia Ofe, Rivers Hoopers have negative points difference. It shows as much as they've won 3 games, they've not been so dominant. It's been narrow wins here, narrow wins there. Now, there's nothing like narrow anything. You just have to win this time around. But in the local palace, Ibad as Ibad. Oga can still be master. I still think Rivers Hoopers will still do enough to it. But remember, the Customs last game had the highest points. They hit up to 80 points. It means they will want to come into the next game and do much more. For Rivers Hoopers to win that game, they have to do better than they've won all their games. They need to be looking at 80 plus or even 90. But sometimes, like they'll tell you in sports, your opponent sometimes determine how you step up. So I think I'll still give it to Rivers Hoopers to win that game. But, well, maybe I want to be brave, like the Benue guys. So if Kwara Falcons are not... if they are not careful, Benue Braves can probably be braver than them and pick them. But I think I'll still give it to Rivers Hoopers.
See, okay, he's got his finalists, right? Benue Braves and Rivers Hoopers. That's what I think. Still, you got that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair prediction, But we'll see. And the good thing about the game between Nigeria Customs and Rivers Hoopers is that they both know themselves so well. The game for Kwara Falcons is a bit tricky because of what Benue Braves they've been doing, and I think for them it's all about sustaining the momentum. So that'll be a very interesting encounter. While the one between Nigeria Customs and Rivers Hoopers will be a crunch one. Cecilia, let's take it away to the CAF Women's Champions League, and that's your call.
Of course, I mean, the CAF Women's Champions League, we somehow, okay, Bayelsa Queens are out. We already know that they're out of it. They didn't make it to the finals. Normally, the Sundowns, who were finalists last year, also got to the finals again. AS FAR of Morocco, I mean, they couldn't get into the finals the last time. It was Saska ladies that ensured that they didn't make it to that. And we're thinking maybe on the West African side, Bayelsa Queens won't be able to stop them. But as a host nation, they just couldn't. The goal came just by a long goal, and Bayelsa Queens, what, they will out. You will ask yourself, what happened? But then you have some questions for Austin, right?
No,
so over to you.
Actually, just thinking, myself and Austin agreed on something last week on. They have everything they need to qualify, but if they don't do the needful, they will not go through. And while watching the game, I would just say to myself, Austin, because you defended well for about 1 hour before conceding one. The first half, I said to myself, with this display, these guys are through. Defended well, won almost every one-on-one ball, almost every duel, everything. Then considered almost 1 hour. Okay, yeah, it happens. I thought they would lose, but not losing by 3-0. Then you had about 6 minutes to go. Then you considered 2 goals.
The other one?
Nah, it was embarrassing. Sometimes, like we were discussing, some persons were trying to blame it on the NPFL. No, leave NPFL on one side. That was a terrible display in the last 15 minutes of the game. I understand sitting back and defending, but like they say, defending is an art. It's not something that jumps on you. Some things your coaches will say to you. In that moment, you need to leave it yourself. And that's what Plateau United failed to get. The last goal was so painful, the 94th minute. You don't concede in that moment. I think you could see the passion, you could see the celebration, see the fan base, everything. It shows what it meant to Al Akda. Unfortunately, it didn't mean the same thing to Plateau United, and they're out of the tournament.
They're out. Let's just take a look at how it all pans out. I mean, Al Nasri and Rivers United ended 1-0 right there in Libya, aggregate 6-1. Of course, Al Qaeda of Libya, it was a 3-0 over Plateau United, and of course, a 4-4 aggregate away win actually got Al Qaeda into the group stage of the CAF Confederations Cup. Austin, I mean, when we were here on Tuesday also, you mentioned, when Kennedy was talking about if they don't win this, they should stay in Libya and play, become a team in Libya, especially Rivers United. I'm happy Rivers United did not fall into the category. But then, I mean, Plateau United losing by that margin. And you mentioned that, look, football is not like that.
I know. You guys should give me my respect. You see, when I talk about these things, people just think that, yes, I'm very optimistic about Nigerian club sides when they play on the continent. But you need to work the work, because it's not about mouth or faith, or you have to go out there and prove it that at every point in time you must get a result. Plateau United. I've been talking to some followers of football in Nigeria trying to blame the league, just as Bolu said. I said, no, this result, this failure is entirely on Plateau United. They should own it with their full chest and keep it. If they like, let them not learn from it to continue, because you don't lose that. You don't lose in the way they lost. It's shameful. I struggle to even analyze that, because the players didn't even, it's like they didn't even know what was in it for them. I think about 26 or 28 minutes to concede 3 goals after you held on for so long. You blow a 4-1 victory in the first leg. It was so painful. You know, I've looked at that result over and over again, and I'm saying, why did Plateau United do this to themselves? And it worries me again, because I know they have a very good coach. They have an intelligent coach in Fidelis Ilechukwu. So this is more like a setback. Something is definitely wrong. They need to talk to those players. It might be psychological. It might be mental stress. Something just went wrong when it shouldn't go wrong. When I was playing football, street football in Festac, I had a coach. We used to call him Eyes on the Prize. You lose this sort of game, Eyes on the Prize will flog you. You know, because you just needed to keep their eyes on the prize, because they could see that group phase is here. It's the money spinning phase. It will be good for us to have Rivers United and Plateau United, and they blew it. I said it to you and Kende Idris that it's not over until it is over. Yeah. Here we are.
Yeah, we are. Let's take a look at the teams that are through to the group stage. Of course, we'll start with the Nigerian team. Rivers United, they are there. AS FAR Rabat of Morocco, they are also there. Morocco Gallants of South Africa also made it through the group stage of the CAF Confederations Cup. Diabos Noah also part of it from Congo. Asco Karao of Togo make it. AS Real Bamako of Mali also made it. Of course, the team that took out Plateau United made it. ASEC Mimosa of Cote d'Ivoire, DC Mentembe Pembe of DR Congo, Tipe Mezembe of DR Congo, Maysend Lupopo of DR Congo. You ask us, is it DR Congo champion? But all the teams that were on the continent, the DR Congo teams made it to the group stage. Pyramids of Egypt also there. Future of Egypt also made it through. Young Africans of Tanzania, you have USM Alger, and of course, US Monastir of Tunisia making it to the group stage of the CAF Confederations Cup. We have just one Nigerian team, which is Rivers United, making it to the group stage of the CAF Confederations Cup. All right, let's leave that. And of course, the countdown to the FIFA World Cup begins. It's 10 days to go. And 10 days, I mean, the teams almost, you have just a few teams. I mean, by Friday, most of the other teams will be releasing their squad. But so many teams have released their squad so far. But then we start with profiling of some of those teams that are already, they released their teams. But then we'll just take a look at the profile of these teams. We'll start with Spain. Spain, of course, we know how big they are. They've been at the World Cup so many times, but then they've won it just once. So for the Spanish team, what they've done, especially South Africa at 2010, when they were able to win their very, very first World Cup. After that, just look at how they're ranked 7th in the world, 16th appearance they're making. They're coached by Luis Enrique, former Barcelona coach, and of course, our captain is Sergio Busquets. And the best result was in 2010 when they won the tournament, and that's for Spain. The profile for the Spanish national team, ranked 7th in the world right now, and of course, 16th appearance, but they've been able to win it just once. And another team is the German national team. German national team, they are ranked 11th in the world. They're making their 20th appearance. Of course, they've won the World Cup 4 times, 1954, 74, 1990, and 2014. That's for the German team. They released their squad this time around. Their captain, Manuel Neuer, who is a fantastic goalkeeper. Of course, Hansi Flick happens to be their coach. And the last team is a Belgium national team. The Red Devils, of course, are ranked 2nd in the world right now, making their 17th appearance in tournament, coached by Roberto Martinez, who is a Spaniard. And of course, Eden Hazard is the captain for this one. The 3rd place, that was in 2018. Their best result so far, talking about the Belgian national team. When they went to the World Cup in 2018, I mean, they were one of the favorites. But at the end of the day, well, they just couldn't make it to the finals. It was a 3rd place finish for the Red Devils. Now, these teams, the countries have released their squad so far, Austin. I mean, let's start with the German national team. Bolu, the German national team, immediately we saw the names that came out, the 17-year-old, and of course, the Nigerian player that we saw, they were like, okay, I mean, Nigeria is not going to the World Cup. But when you see when you see the German national team, you look at the names, I mean, they are all Germans. But right now, infusion of some names you look at, okay, this is an African player. Oh, no, this is a Nigerian, I mean, this is from Nigerian descent, but we have some of those names right there when the squad was released today. One of the names that hit people then for Germany was Odonko. Of course. Apart from that, like you rightly said, it's always Brandt, Julian, all those kind of names, but this time around, Karim Adeyemi is part of the squad. And interestingly, Musiala also has a Nigerian origin. We could scout him as early as maybe 14 years. He's also with the German, and that boy has been doing so well in the last 1 year for Germany. But I think the biggest omission for Germany has to be, like some people say, maybe village people. His name is Marco Reus, one of the most talented German players ever. But he just finds ways to get injured weeks or days to every tournament. He picked up an injury, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago. Now he's missing in this squad. But on paper, the German squad is not bad. And like you rightly said, they have a minus the last World Cup that they got eliminated in the group stages for about 5 World Cup tournaments. Germany always gets to the semi-final. They always get to, all through Joachim Löw's tenure, minus the last World Cup, they always get to semi-final. It means every tournament, you cannot underrate Germany. Any group stage, whoever they're taking on in their group, Germany will always turn up. Yes, now they have a breed of the older generation and the young guns. It means experience is key, plus the energy of the young boys. I think Germany should do well. Maybe a quarterfinal at least should be enough for Germany. Yeah, Austin, when you look at the German national team, you look at Mario Götze, who gave them that goal that made them to win the tournament in 2014. And you ask yourself, Mario Götze, after 5 years, right? I mean, he's 30 years old now. He's coming back into the squad. And as Bolo mentioned, injury, Marcus Royce, Mats Hummels, these guys miss out because of injury. But Karim Adeyemi, then you have another teenager, Yusufa Moukoko. I mean, it's just 17 years old. I mean, for the German national team, what are they trying to tell us? Like they are doing the United Nations, like the French national team are doing, bringing in everybody. As long as they're German, come play for us.
So Germany is probably saying, if France can do it, we can also do it. You know, again, it's just a clear testament that Africa is blessed. You know, and if we can actually get it right in Africa, some of these players will be proud to come back and play for the motherland, you know. I like it when I see, you know, players with African descent, you know, make teams in Europe, in America. Even George West's son made the United States of America team, you know. So Africa is that blessed. With Germany and this team, it's formidable. It's a team that can compete, you know. It's all about the blend. And for the fact that we're calling some of these names, let's just hope that they will have a chance to play. But to make the list to the World Cup, even if you just go and sit down there, shows that you are a player that has reputation. You have quality. If you look at the entire country and you make the 26th man list to go to the World Cup, even Neymar was waiting anxiously for his name to be announced when Brazil announced their squad list. So shout out to those guys from Africa. Even if they are not related with Africa, we accept them, we love them. You know, we know that someday they will, you know, relate to the motherland.
All right, I'll throw this to London because Austin is in London, so he needs to tell us what the reaction is like, what is happening right there, because you have some players who are just coming from injury. Adron, Kevin Phillips, for instance, has been injured, but he's coming into the team. And of course, you have some other players, Kyle Walker also coming into. Harry Maguire, that hasn't been playing so much for United, he's also in the squad. Austin, for you, what's the reaction right there in England? Are they happy with this squad from Gareth Southgate?
Majority don't seem to be happy with it, but they've accepted that Gareth Southgate picked a team that he trusts. He picked people who he can beat his chest to say, if anything goes wrong, these are the guys that I want to pick. He has been defending the inclusion of Harry Maguire, saying that this guy is arguably the best fullback we have in the country, that whoever has a problem with it, he will shut them up during the World Cup. And I think to an extent, he has a point. As the gaffer, he has watched these guys, and club football isn't the same as national team football. So if the coach can speak that good of Maguire, it's now left to Maguire to go to Qatar and repair the coach's confidence on him. But people have been asking questions, Cecilia, that what should Fikayo Tomori do to play for England? It's so painful. A fan, I was listening to radio, and the fan was like, this guy has been consistent, arguably the most improved defender in England, and he has been snubbed once again, you know. And I just looked back and I said, Fikayo Tomori should have accepted to play for Nigeria.
Nigeria not going to the World Cup.
Didn't qualify for the World Cup. So it's just tough. They're also asking questions, particularly fans of Manchester United. They expected Sancho to make the list. Sancho didn't make the list. Ward-Prowse, to me, I thought he was a decent player who can actually make the squad. Gareth Southgate didn't look at him. But then again, he had just 26 men to pick out of the abundance of talent. See how difficult it is?
All right, Austin, I think you got to sign out and go, so we'll talk to quickly. Speak with, so.
Okay, I'm glad we're ending it with a conversation from England. That's the show. Let's keep the conversation going on Twitter or channels_sports. In London, Mostin, Okonakwan, and everything you do, remember, let's keep talking close by for now.
But we really don't have time for you to react to the England squad. But then thank you so much for coming on the program.
It's always a pleasure being around.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. Good night.